Hey folks, I want to tell you ahead of time, post edit, strap in. This is going to be a long video. Y'all are finally getting your wish from me. I guess it's time to re-let these dogs back out and or take you back to the nation one more time.
We interrupt our program to bring you this important message.
What's good, everyone? It's your boy Jakari from Cincinnati Gaming, and I'm back at you with another deck profile. Well, you already see top card on the deck. You already know what time it is. It is version 1 of Ritual Dogmatika. You will not see anything in this deck in the main that isn't Dogmatika. The only exception is currently I am trying to test it with the Golden Sword Soul just because it is a level 4 light spellcaster and it's a free special. So, and it's a tuner. Go figure. More tuners. It's not like I'm really going to master deck anyways. I can, but we don't normally do that in this deck. This extra deck is here for us to toss for the most part. So let's get started. This deck is kind of thick. I believe it's somewhere like 44 or 47 cards. I am in the process of trimming it down. That's why this is version 1, folks. So 2 Aiden, 1 Cheyenne, 3 Ecclesia, 2 Fleur-de-Lis, 1 Maximus, 1 Nexus, 2 Theo. So you're going into more of a heavier, dogmatic account. Unless you want to play hand traps, then you can realistically cut an Aiden, the Theo, the Nexus, the Cheyenne. Really, they're in here for attack for strats, and for the added banish for summoning requirements for Nexus. You really just go back down to playing 3 Ecclesia, 2 Fleur, and 1 or 2 Maximus. You could go back down to that. That's usually about the strat of most Dogmatika decks that were out and about in the world, except for mine. It's because I do a lot of different shit. 3 Albazoa. The main reason why we built this deck was to center it around Albazoa, big bitch himself. 1 Knight and 2 Relic. In all truth, you can cut the Knight. You cannot cut the Knight. You can cut 1 Relic. I prefer 2 Relic over 2 Knight simply because Relic's effect, you have the potential of making Albazoa anywhere upwards of 7 to 8k attack, depending on what you have on the field. Because this tells you to target to pick 2 Dogmatika monsters on your field and give 1 the other's attack. So let's just do the hypothetical. Say you have 2 Albazoas on field with a Fleur-de-Lis. Cool. So now you have an 8k before attack Albazoa Fleur-de-Lis's effect goes in and puts it at 85. Just like that. It's a one shot. And no, we don't run Manju Senju. Why? It has almost all of your shit in this deck. Searches, adds, different Dogmatika cards, monsters, spells, and traps. And then some of the spells and traps add the monsters to the deck, from the deck to the hand. So, for the ritual spells, to Calamity, well, my fault, I lied. 3 Calamity, and 2 Macabre. I wholeheartedly was contemplating doing a Blue Eyes build of this so that I can run Advanced Ritual Art just to dump the Blue Eyes to the grave. Or Chaos form. I thought about doing a Chaos Max build doing this just to lock down the field to smack somebody in the face with Chaos Max and Albazoa. I thought about it, I thought against it. I may still build it just to see if it works. 3 Dogmatika Matrix. If you don't know what this card does, because it is from Photon Hypernova, just like Albazoa, which, you know, very rare occasion that I actually read cards on the read card effects in profiles. I'll read Albazoa and I'll read Matrix real quick. The Albazoa cannot be ritual summoned except by Dogmatika Calamity or another Dogmatika card effect. Dogmatika monsters you control are unaffected by the activated effects of your opponent's fusions, synchro, exceeds, and link monsters. During your main phase, you can make your opponent choose and apply one of these effects. And then in parentheses it says, you and these effects means the opponent, meaning it affects them. It means, well, when they choose, then if depending on the effect, it would actually do to you to do unto them. So the first one is for every 2 cards in your extra deck, you send 1 card from your hand or extra deck to the graveyard. The other effect is return all fusion, synchro, exceeds, and link monsters you control to the extra deck, which does unto them. So they send them. Alright, and then Matrix is, when this card is activated, you can add 1 Dogmatika Ritual monster or Dogmatika Ritual spell from your deck to your hand. Then, if your opponent controls a monster, you can add a Dogmatika card from your deck to your hand. So literally this card becomes prep. It becomes a combination of prep and pre-prep. Because you can, if they control a monster, you can add both. A ritual spell or ritual monster or a ritual spell. And then if they have the monster, you can add both. Or you just add 2 Dogmatika cards in general. Well, a ritual spell or monster and then another Dogmatika card. So this card literally searches, if as long as they control a monster, literally every Dogmatika card in your deck. The only Dogmatika related card this does not search is the only non-searchable card in the deck, which is Nadir Servant. Guess what searches that? Which is going to make this deck not as budget as it should be. Triple Tactics Thrust. That is the only card that would actually hard allow you to search Nadir Servant in this deck. The last effect of this card is Once per turn, if you control a Dogmatika ritual monster, you can look at either player's extra deck and send one monster from the deck from it to the graveyard. You can only activate one of this card per turn. So if they negate the activation and you just so happen to have two of them in hand, activate the second one. And continue what you were doing. Now, if they ash it, they ash it. It is what it is. You really can't do shit about that one. Unless you just happen to have that called by. You better have that called by. Or crossout, because crossout actually would do wonders in this deck. Continuing on, it's time to return back to the nation. I'm only running 2. You can search it with multiple cards in this deck, so there was no point in running 3. Plus, I am running terraforming. So, and 3 Nadir, speak of the Nadir servant, and then the 1 terraformer. So, again, you have multiple ways of searching multiple cards in this deck. Some of the monsters search monsters, some of them special them back from the grave, some of them add them from the grave to the hand, some of them add them from the deck to the hand. Some of your extra deck monsters add them from the deck to the hand. So you have multiple ways of accessing things in this deck. Now, everything else in this deck are trap cards. I had all intentions of making this probably the pettiest deck I have ever built, especially for Dogmatikas. So triple dimensional barrier. This can be spellbound if you want it to be. That's perfectly fine. I have no problem with that. I have 3 spellbounds. I could side in the spellbounds if I wanted to. 1 encounter for the free summon or the free add to hand from grave. Two punishment. You got enough shit in here that stops you from summoning monsters from your extra deck. I don't go into punishment very often. You don't necessarily always need to go into punishment. 3 Gravedigger's Trap Hole. Pretty self-explanatory. Negate a monster effect and burn them for 2k. 3 IDP. Self-explanatory. I'm just going to special your monster from your grave. 9 times out of 10, I am not going to banish it. Banish it in your other monster. 9 times out of 10, I'm not. Depending on who I'm playing and what they're using, oh yeah, I'm probably going to manage that shit. And then the last 3 cards are triple strikes. So, as I said, in all actuality, you could make this even, yeah, in all truth, I wouldn't change too much of my trap lineup. I really do happen to like the trap lineup. The only thing I would probably think about adding is something like Trap Trick, but even then, you don't need it. Stuff that you want to search, searchable for half in the main deck. And then the rest of the stuff you end up drawing most of the time anyways. So for the extra deck, like I said, the Golden Swords Hold is literally just in here for a free special. Unfortunately, this deck dies very hard to Bestials, because everything is in here is light or dark. So, be careful. Actually, everything in here is light, because Dogmatika's all light spellcasters. So, yeah, this deck dies hard to Bestials. Sorry. Kashtira really doesn't affect this deck too much, simply because unless they lock out all your monster zones, then you're kind of just screwed. Then at that point, I would tell you to supplement stuff and go back to more like my original Dogmatika build, but still play the ritual monsters, and put like put a small kaiju package in here to clear their stuff out, or put Book of Eclipse in. Good side deck card right now. But going back to the extra deck, 3 Entis, 1 Garua, 3 Titaniclad, and then just because it's just a big chunking discard it's a big punishment target, folks. The B Trooper fusion. It's the only reason why it's in here. It's a punishment target. That's it. Now 5 of the next 7 cards I could actually summon in this deck. So, here we go. Dark Rebellion. Arc Rebellion. What, you thought you weren't going to see one without the other? Okay. Double Soldier of Chaos. And a Unicorn. Look, my IPs are tied up. I'm not trying to pull my IPs out of another deck to play it in here. Again, I don't normally go into the extra deck, and if I go into the extra deck, it's 9 times out of 10 going into one of these. It is likely going into one of these, or it's going to go into this, into that. I don't normally summon Unicorn, but I can. And then the last 2 extra deck monsters are 2 for G, for punishment targets, for Nadir targets. So, but folks, that's it for the profile. I would say I would do a combo tutorial, but the problem with doing a combo tutorial with this deck in a profile is, you know what, screw it. Give me just a moment. I'm gonna do a quick shuffle and I'll be right back. Alright folks, and we are back. I am going to just do a quick power shuffle here. I was 47. Again, I really wasn't counting. 48 if Golden Sword Soul goes in. Again, it's kind of one of those. It may not. It's not my priority to put it in here. I just thought it would have been funny if it worked. But I'm gonna try to trim this down when I do version 2 of this deck sometime soon. Let's see if the gods are in my favor with doing a test hand really fast. You know, I don't do this very often, so we got a what is that? That's Theo, Relic, Strike, Nadir, Matrix. Okay, so if I'm going first, okay, if I'm going first, then I won't end up getting both parts of this. does kind of suck. So I'm going to play this. I'm just going to do it as me going second. And just for the sake of the video, I'm going to do it as if I have no negates. I'm not playing with, my opponent's playing no interruptions right now, which, you know, is not realistic, but we're going to just roll with it. 6 card is Macabre. So, say they summon from the ED. So we'll special Theo, because monster from the extra deck's on the field. Special big dunderhead here. Alright, so let's go ahead and go into the Matrix. I will add the Albazoa, and because we already have one of the ritual spells, and yes, you can, because it is technically a card effect, you can ritual summon Albazoa with Macabre. You can ritual summon Relic with Calamity. And because my opponent controls a monster, we'll add Ecclesia. Why not? While we're already here, we're already this far into it. Alright. So we ain't going into the extra deck this turn either way, because I have both Nadir Servant and Ecclesia. So special Ecclesia, because my opponent controls a monster because there's a monster in the field special from the extra deck. I will add, you know what? Why not? Why not add that? Let's add Calamity. Alright, I'm gonna Nadir Servant. I'm going to, at this point, I kind of fucked up. I honestly could have special these in the tag for what I'm gonna do next. I'm gonna send Entis and add Fleur de Lis. Entis is gonna pop one of their monsters, saying that they have more than one on the field from the ED. I will pop, well, say they only had one from the ED, but they had one from the main still in the field. Yes, I'm running a lot of hypotheticals, but kind of the nature of this situation right now. So what we are going to do next, oh, and I fucked that up. I grabbed Maximus and not Fleur when I said I was getting Fleur. My bad. Sorry, folks. I'm kind of out of it right now. All right, there we go. There's Fleur. So we're gonna go ahead and special Fleur. Continuing on here. Let's go ahead and activate. Sure, we already got it. So activate Macabre. Let's send the Ecclesia to the grave. Summon Relic. Let's let's do Calamity. And I think I have that here. I don't remember. Sorry, my eyes are getting real heavy. Okay, so in this situation, instead of running the B Trooper fusion, I would probably play Final Sigma, because it's a level 12. So, for the sake of this video, I have plenty of Final Sigmas. I wasn't thinking about it when I did it. That's my fuck up. Yeah, because I'm like one off. And stupid B Trooper's a level 11. That kind of sucks. Alright, so at that point, we'll just say I'll do it for the sake of this. You can grab me on it later. I don't care. So instead of it being the B Trooper one, it could just be Final Sigma or some random level 12 fusion or synchro monster for the extra deck. And then we're gonna go into Awazoa Matrix Effect. Because I control a Dogmatika ritual monster, I'm gonna go into my extra deck. And why not? Let's send Garua from the extra deck to the grave, triggering Garua's effect to draw one. Well, I guess we're taking them to the nation. So, Relic Effect, because I have to do it before battle, so I don't have a choice on this one. Relic Effect, I'm going to target Fleur-de-Lis and Albazoa. I'm going to give Albazoa Fleur-de-Lis attack. I'm going to do... why not? Theo's effect, target their monster that's summoned from the extra deck, and this gains 600 attack, making it 24. I'm going to now enter battle. Declare attack with Fleur-de-Lis. Fleur-de-Lis effect is going to activate, giving all of them an added, 500? Yeah, 500. So she's now at 3k. This is at 7k. It's at 29. Until the end of the turn. So Fleur-de-Lis is gonna attack the monster. Even if it doesn't die, it did battle with a Dogmatika monster, so Nation's gonna pop it. They have nothing left at this point. So that's 29 and 7k. That's the most optimal setup for it. But I'll be real, like I said, you're not gonna always bank on that happening. In this particular build, you don't want to go first. If you do, you're gonna probably be in a situation where you kind of don't want to commit way too much for fear of things like evenly matched. So at that point, I probably would have went into Zoa and just set striking past. I mean, I still could have sent... instead of sending Intis off Nadir if I'm going first, I'd send Titanic Clad. So that during the end phase, I can add a Dogmatika monster from my deck to my hand. But folks, that's it for the deck profile and combo tutorial. Hope you enjoyed. Don't forget to like, share, and subscribe. Hit that bell for all future notifications. And this has been your boy Jakari from Twisted Nightmare Gaming and Lunar Nightmare Network signing off. Till the next one, I'm out.